John, what's your reaction to the huge salaries that they're paying coaches to coach college basketball today? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million.
Well, I think that if we look at all things being equal, you know, you find that it still becomes a race for more money in every aspect. Trying to remember now, the argument that the NBA had was because of the fact that this trade with the young man from Memphis to go to LA, the little guard from Wake Forest, great guard,
Chris Paul,
great guard. Well, the commissioner stopped that trade because right now a lot of people don't realize it. The NBA is subsidizing some of these teams because of the fact that they're not drawing, they're not making any money. So that was the big holdup in the money situation that the players were asking for. This is something that the public didn't understand. That you have to protect those teams that being subsidized by the NBA, who's not drawing unless you want to eliminate all those teams, Minneapolis and some of the others that just don't draw. And now they are in some cases, but here again, looking at the college situation, it is truly a bad situation for a lot of teams. But when you look at it from the standpoint of Syracuse drawing 30, 40,000 people in there for a basketball game, and and other schools are not. I guess that's why they went into revenue sharing, because in football, in your league, if 3 guys go to bowl games and somebody like Seton Hall doesn't, then you got to share that money with them. That's why they put Temple out in the Big East, because we weren't drawing any money in football. Now we come back, we got a pretty good football team, but we're not in the Big East anymore. But they're always reconfiguring these leagues like they're doing now. You got teams that used to say, well, let's organize our cluster of teams like the Big East did, where they were all located in a distance where many times you could travel by bus and you could save money. Now they have enlarged themselves where they take it in Texas. Some of the schools out there. They're always reconfiguring for money. And that is the biggest problem that I see in sports. So consequently, when that happens, the coaches and players, they say, hey, you making that kind of money? Well, I demand this kind of money. But here again, you got some guys that bring in that kind of money from name alone. From the name alone. Some guys just don't. And they don't stay around too long either. It's a shame. It's a shame. A guy like Petey, who's a great coach.
Corral.
Yeah, Petey Carell was a great coach. I mean, basic, fundamental, winner, could beat some big teams with a team that was not as equipped with great players. Could not exist in this environment today. Just couldn't.
John, what did you enjoy more, practice or games?
I enjoyed the practice. I found myself laughing and, like I said, puffing. Always coming back the next day with some idea, jotting it down, something that I'd go home thinking about. Maybe I should have done this, maybe I could have done that. And thinking of trying to create another way to service a player, to help that player. And having to segregate the players into each coach. And I would meet with my coaches and say, well, this is what I want you to teach. And I want you to teach it in this manner. Because retention, whether it be retention here or whether it be the muscle memory, whether you're teaching a kid how to dribble a basketball, shoot a basketball, you want this muscle to react, but it's going to react and it's going to retain certain things because you use it more. Practicing it over and over and over. And to see the development of a youngster requires you to understand that your team's going to get better. You're never going to be in the same place from teaching. Never. You might get a little bit better, you might get worse, but you're never going to be in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly moving, who was that? Isaac Newton. Things that tend to go in motion tend to stay in motion. Mm-hmm. And if you are constantly moving the brain and moving the muscles, I don't care what muscle, you're never going to be in the same place. And you have to convince the kids, you're going to be somewhere else tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And the next day, if we keep working at it, if we keep doing what we must do to leave from this position to another position, I don't care who you are. Rodman was a player that couldn't shoot his way. If he sat his ass on top of the basket, he couldn't make a basket. That's why when they won that championship that year, that he got rebounds. He got 14 rebounds at the end of a game and ran out of the way from getting fouled so he could give it to Jordan. Because he knew he could shoot foul shots. But he was not in the same place as he was when he first came there. You see. So, and he became, 6'6"? 6'6", 6'7"?
It's a great example of young players that you don't have to be a scorer to be a major contributor. Rodman made the Hall of Fame on defense and rebound. He got in the Hall of Fame on defense and rebound.
I know. I'm looking at that. I'm saying, my God. Now he's going to have to put another tattoo on his butt. Hall of Fame.
Hey, John, let me ask you something. I've been around you for a little over 50 years in that, and did you ever think about going into politics?
Well, there was an old song, I don't know who sang that. It ain't gonna get no better. I don't know who sang it, some woman or someone. I've heard it so many times. Just heard it, ain't gonna get no better, something like that. The thing about it is that I believe that there's perhaps 3 or 4 things that has become intractable in this world today. And they're based on 3 or 4 things that's never going to change. It might get a little bit better. And I think the only chance for it to get better in this country is through the man that we have as a president today. And that's Barack. It's not going to get any better from what we see in these politicians, these clowns in that party that's running now that have 50 different ways to feed a person. There's all kinds of ways that they think of to solve problems. I remember so strongly that my stepfather came from a small town called Madison, Florida. And what happened is that in Madison, Florida, it's a town. All the old people and people got congregated in the center of town, small town, 2 steps in and out. And they would sit down and they would play checkers. And all, young people get smart when they hang around old people. You sit around, they come up with wise statements. And these guys are playing checkers. And, there's always a very smart guy who said something smart. And every day they were playing checkers, and every week, every day, the guys, these cows, horses, and all of this, they'd come through town, and they'd be dropping their dung all over town. And one guy in there would say, "What's that?" And there's always one guy who comes up with this smart stuff like, "Well, it's ammonia, blah, 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 fertilizer." Come. And one guy said, "That's shit." He says, "You guys must understand. Never make a mystery out of bullshit. It's so common, it's so easy to understand that a straight line sometimes is the closest point from one point to another. You don't find hard answers for hate. You don't find a problem of trying to recognize that religion has caused so many wars in this world. You don't go around the fact that racism is an intractable disease that people have, and you can't get around it. Mahatma Gandhi once said that first they spit on me, first they throw stones at me, then they beat me, and then they kill me, and then I win. Now that's a hell of a statement, but that's true today. Hate just permeates this country. How can you show disrespect for a man who every time he opens his mouth, he speaks of goodwill for everybody? He does good things for everybody. I mean, he doesn't spew out hate, and yet because of who he is, we find a group of people who cannot sit down and be humane enough to think about the have-nots. There used to be an old picture that I can remember, George. I don't know if you can remember it. But I come to that point in my life now when you talk about politics. And I think about all this formula I just gave you: hate, racism, religion, rage, racism. Filled with rage, I say to you, stop the world, I want to get off. That was an old picture. Stop the world. Everywhere you look, there's so much hate. You almost want to stay and associate with only those people that help you, that can always find hope in life. And you don't want to get out of that cocoon. That's what's so sad. There's no more people like you. There's no more people like John. There's no more people. I saw Nolan with a red suit on. I said, and his hair is red. I said, he looks like a match. When you see Nolan, you tell him. I said, I want that picture.
He gonna call you and cuss you out.
Oh, that's my buddy. He was so sweet. I mean, he's the sweetest guy in the world.
So make sure everybody knows we're talking about Nolan Richardson.
Yeah.
John, let's do this because you've been so kind to us. I'm gonna give you 3 last questions. Okay. Hypothetical situation. You can select any 5 people in the history of the world and invite them to dinner. Who would they be?
Well, oh my God, living?
No, they don't have to be living. They can be living or dead.
Oh boy. Somebody that I really love his laugh more than anything else is Phil Knight.
All right, we got Phil Knight as one.
I love his laugh because it comes from here. You know what I mean? When you can see laughter, like I said, laughing and puffing, you can see that out of a guy that I really admire for so many years, and a guy who thinks of other people in so many ways. The changes that I've seen in life that's taken place because of the impact and the influence around the world by Nike is somebody that I would love to I would love to have him on part. Certainly, Bill Russell, he's another one that's got that laugh. You know what I mean? I would say, John Thompson would be one. Naturally, you, that's four.
Gotta get a female in there. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. Your wife gonna spank you.
I know, but Vivian won't laugh too much. She's always serious.
Vivian Stringer.
Yeah, she's always serious. She's fighting for women rights. I said, Vivian, we've already gotten Title 9 out the way. We don't need to fight no more. Yeah, but we want more. But, oh boy.
You got all contemporaries.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What about your boy Cosby?
Yeah, Billy's another. But see, if he comes, he's gonna ask me for his watch back, and I ain't getting it back. I got a human award from Big Brother, Big Sister, and Bill put it on tape that I stole the watch, and that's what he said. I broke in his house and stole it from him. I think that would be 5. Yeah, I think that not only that, I could sit on the sideline and eat my chillins and hog maws and neck bones and rice on the side and pig feet and stuff, and let you guys go at it. I think you should be sergeant at arms, though.
I usually am. When you and John Thompson are around, I usually am. John, when the time comes and they close the curtain on your life, how do you want to be remembered? And we're going to end with this question.
I would say that I, like many others, have made mistakes in my life, but I would hope that somebody might take away some of the good thoughts, and perhaps if I could imagine me leaving the earth, I would love to take you 5 people with me.
We might not be ready to go.
I know, but I'm selfish. I don't want to leave you guys back here to continue to suffer.
We're going to be back here talking about you.
I would love to take my closest friends with me. That's for sure. I don't want to leave them back to suffer.
John, it's been great spending this time with you. I don't see enough of you. And we're going to end this with a hug. Come on, stand up here, boy. We're going to get a hug.
I can put my arms around you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Love you.
I love you back, George.